Tonight is a special night at the White House. It's Donald and Melania's 20th wedding anniversary. 20 years is a long time, especially for Melania. This morning, Trump paid tribute to his longest-serving wife by reposting this AI image of himself with a lion.
Trump losing his cool over a late-night joke. Classic. Jimmy Kimmel just cracked a joke about his marriage, and let's just say it hit a little too close to home. Now Trump is fuming like a toaster stuck on high. Will he brush it off or unleash a social media meltdown? Or will Melania give him the look that says, "Not this again? Popcorn ready, let's go."
I'm guessing he noticed a bunch of people posting about his anniversary, which remind him, oh, it's my anniversary. So he then reposted this sweet photo of Melania literally pushing him away from her.
Kimmel knows exactly what he's doing. The man has been in the late-night game long enough to understand that when you take a swing at Trump, you don't just land a joke, you detonate a full-blown media explosion. So when he stepped onto that stage, grinning like he had just been handed the comedic equivalent of a golden ticket, the audience braced themselves.
Well, our president kept the crowd very warm at CPAC over the weekend. CPAC, if you're not familiar, is basically what would happen if Judge Jeanine Pirro headlined the Fire Festival. It's a lot of very angry white people. It is the largest gathering of people who believe vaccines are witchcraft in the world. And for 2 hours and 2 minutes, Donald Trump gave what I believe we may look back on as his I Have a Dream speech. This was his longest speech since taking office. He went on and on. You could have left this speech, watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, come back, and he would still have been going. And to kick things off, Trump went to one of his signature moves to start it. And I know there's a lot of competition, but this, I think, this might be the dumbest thing he does. Donald Trump shows more affection to flags than Eric and Don Jr. have ever gotten in their whole lives.
He started light, a playful jab here, a little tease there. Classic warm-up material, the kind that keeps the audience engaged but doesn't ruffle too many feathers. But that wasn't what everyone was waiting for. No, they knew the real punchline was coming. And then, like a perfectly timed knockout punch, he dropped,
"Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less-than-average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again." Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
And of course, in any crowd, there are always those few people who suddenly decide to forget they bought tickets to a comedy show. They sit there, stiff as statues, refusing to react, as if laughing might put them on some kind of secret government watch list. Meanwhile, the rest of the audience is in absolute chaos, wiping tears, clapping, and gasping for air.
According to reports from multiple news outlets, his former sister-in-law alleges that Hegseth's wife was terrified he would abuse her to the point where she and her sister had a code to text each other if her husband became violent, and she feared for her safety.
But here's where things really get fun. See, Kimmel doesn't just drop a joke and move on. Oh no, he doubles down. He starts breaking it down, making it worse, or better, depending on your perspective. He leans into the joke, teasing it apart piece by piece, dragging out the laughter until it's clear some people in the audience are about 2 chuckles away from needing a medic. Then there are the cameras. Because let's be real, whenever a comedian roasts Trump, there's always that moment when the cameras start hunting. They scan the crowd, looking for the reaction shots that are about to go viral. Who's laughing too hard? Who's pretending they didn't just laugh? Who's nervously checking their phone to make sure they don't have any messages from their Republican uncle? Yet, it's all part of the spectacle. And somewhere in a dimly lit room, with a Diet Coke in hand, Trump himself might have already been watching. Maybe he was flipping through channels just in time to catch Kimmel delivering the line that would ruin his night.
If I was going to make stuff up about him, I'd start telling people he wears diapers. I would explain that it's a long trial. He drinks a lot of Diet Cokes to stay awake. He's getting up there in years, and it's perfectly normal for a man of Trump's age and carriage to wear absorbent undergarments to stop the leaks. So, I mean, if I was making stuff up, that I would point out that the reason he stands like this and golfs like this and plays tennis like this is because he has a full diaper strapped around his little mushroom garden. Okay?
Scan the crowd, looking for the reaction shots that are about to go viral. Who's laughing too hard? Who's pretending they didn't just laugh? Who's nervously checking their phone to make sure they don't have any messages from their Republican uncle? Yet, it's all part of the spectacle. And somewhere in a dimly lit room, with a Diet Coke in hand, Trump himself might have already been watching. Maybe he was flipping through channels just in time to catch Kimmel delivering the line that would ruin his night. Maybe an aide texted him, warning that Twitter, Truth Social, was about to go nuclear. Either way, one thing was certain. Kimmel had just made sure Trump's next 24 hours would be spent crafting the perfect angry response.
Jimmy Fallon asks me if he could do one thing. Could he play with my hair?
Could I mess your hair up?
I want to see if it's real. So he didn't just play. He puts his hand in my hair, and the audience went wild, and they loved it. 6 months later, he stood up, and he said, "I'd like to apologize for doing that." He lost his whole audience when he did that.
Would it be an all-caps meltdown? A rambling post about fake news and late-night losers? Or maybe a fresh conspiracy theory about how Jimmy Kimmel is part of a deep state plot to overthrow him? No one knew yet. But one thing was for sure. This joke had just lit a fuse, and the explosion was coming.
Usually when Donald Trump gets a spanking like this from a woman, it's with a Forbes magazine. Kamala was pushing his buttons like a 12-year-old playing Fortnite. This was a much better debate than the last debate. This is like the Lion King when Simba came back to avenge Mufasa. Trump's advisors, before the debate, they urged him to be happy Trump instead of mean bully Trump, and to please focus on the issues. Of course, he didn't listen to any of that at all. But who are we kidding? This election isn't about the issues. I mean, Dick Cheney isn't voting for Kamala Harris because he agrees with her on the issues. He's voting for her because there's a rhinoceros charging and she has the tranquilizer gun.
Then, the Apprentice era arrived, and Trump fully leaned into his persona as the tough boss who fired people for sport. Late-night hosts had a field day. Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, and Jay Leno took their shots, roasting everything from his catchphrase to his obsession with putting his name on literally everything. But back then, Trump played along. He liked the attention. He even went on these shows, laughing with the hosts while they poked fun at him because, at the time, it was all part of his brand. Then came 2016, the moment Trump transitioned from reality TV to actual reality. Late-night comedy took on a whole new mission. This wasn't just about teasing a quirky billionaire anymore. This was war. Stephen Colbert, who had spent years perfecting satire on The Colbert Report, sharpened his attacks. Seth Meyers, who had already roasted Trump at the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, made his late-night monologues practically a nightly Trump roast session. Jimmy Kimmel, who had mostly stuck to lighthearted humor, suddenly found himself in the middle of the political storm, using his platform to comment on Trump's policies, statements, and, of course, his Twitter meltdowns. Then there was Jimmy Fallon, whose approach was, well, infamous. The mistake of playfully ruffling Trump's hair in a 2016 interview, in an attempt to keep things apolitical, led to immediate backlash. Fans accused him of humanizing Trump at a time when the stakes were too high. Fallon later admitted he regretted the moment, but the damage was done. And Trump, he never forgot. Years later, he still took jabs at Fallon, even demanding that he be a man and stop apologizing. As president, Trump hated late-night comedians. He called them unfunny, overrated, and part of the fake news media. When Colbert mocked him in an especially brutal monologue, Trump dismissed him as a no-talent guy. When Kimmel criticized his policies, Trump went after his ratings. If he wasn't attacking them on Twitter, now Truth Social, he was ranting about them at rallies, turning their jokes into campaign grievances. Even post-presidency, Trump's grudge against late-night TV hasn't faded. The problem? The jokes never stop coming. And as long as there's a microphone, a stage, and an audience ready to laugh at his expense, late-night comedians will always have fresh material. For years, Trump and Melania's relationship has been the internet's favorite mystery, right up there with What's in Area 51 and Who Keeps Buying Nickelback albums. From the outside, their marriage often looks less like a love story and more like a long-term business contract with a strict no-hand-holding clause. And let's be honest, late-night hosts, especially Jimmy Kimmel, haven't let a single awkward moment slide. Kimmel's joke wasn't just funny, it was a surgical strike on an ongoing pop culture phenomenon. The moment it landed, the audience's reaction said it all. Laughter, gasps, and that undeniable, "oh, he went there" energy. Because let's face it, people have been talking about the Trump marriage saga for years. It's been dissected, analyzed, and memified to the point where every small interaction between the two get scrutinized like it's a high-stakes poker match. Remember the infamous hand swat incident? It was 2017. Trump and Melania were walking down a tarmac in Israel, and just as Trump reached for her hand, whack, she swatted it away like she was rejecting a greasy dollar bill from a stranger. That 1-second clip turned into an instant meme. Analysts, both real and self-appointed Twitter experts, debated whether it was an accident or the most passive-aggressive rejection ever caught on camera. And then there's the icy stare, that chilling moment from Trump's inauguration when Melania's forced smile disappeared the second he turned away, like a scene from a Jordan Peele horror movie. The clip resurfaced every time someone wanted to fuel the "is Melania trapped" conspiracy theory. Now, mix those with countless awkward moments, robotic photo ops, and Melania's questionable enthusiasm when standing next to Trump, and you have the perfect comedic setup. Kimmel knew exactly what he was doing when he dropped that joke. The internet? Oh, the internet ate it up. Within minutes, Twitter was flooded with reactions. Theories popped up, ranging from "she's secretly plotting her escape" to "she's just here for the inheritance." Even Instagram meme pages dusted off their best free Melania content and gave it a fresh spin. Of course, Trump's supporters weren't amused. They quickly defended the marriage, dismissing Kimmel's joke as just another cheap shot from Hollywood elites. Some even insisted that Trump and Melania's relationship was perfectly normal, because, hey, who doesn't look like they'd rather be anywhere else when standing next to their spouse? Love or hate Trump, one thing is undeniable: his marriage has provided some of the most unintentionally entertaining moments in political history. And just like clockwork, Trump did what Trump does best: react with the force of 1,000 exclamation points. Did he call Kimmel a third-rate hack and blame the failing late-night industry? You bet. But the real kicker? In his attempt to dismiss the joke, he somehow made it worse. Maybe he meant to downplay it, but instead he ranted so much that he turned a one-liner into a full-blown news cycle. Classic Trump move, turning a late-night punchline into a multi-day headline, all while insisting he doesn't care. Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. We would do Jimmy Kimmel. I do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot. He used to greet me on the sidewalk outside of his studio. I'd come in. This was before politics, of course, but I'd come in, and he'd be standing on the sidewalk. "Oh, sir, may I bring you in?" And then I ran for politics. I never got involved with it much, but all they do is talk bad about Trump. That's all. The whole show is talking bad about Trump. He is a ridiculous person. And just like that, the internet did what it does best: turned the whole fiasco into a meme factory. Twitter lit up with reactions faster than Trump could type. Memes of Melania blinking in Morse code flooded the timeline, while TikTok users reenacted the joke with dramatic flair. Trump supporters rallied in the comments, calling it disrespectful, while critics laughed so hard they probably pulled a muscle. Meanwhile, late-night hosts saw the opening and pounced, turning Kimmel's one-liner into a multi-day roast session. At this point, the joke had evolved into a full-fledged comedy saga, with Trump as its unwilling main character. So I said to our great First Lady, who can draw a crowd, "Did you watch me tonight on television? Go out and get a book." She just wrote a book. I hope she said good things about me. I don't know. I didn't read it. I'm so busy. She just wrote a book called Melania. Go out and buy it. And if she says bad things about me, I'll call you all up and say, don't buy it. As the internet erupted, all eyes turned to Melania, or rather the lack of her response. No statement, no tweet, not even a carefully worded "we don't care" moment. Instead, the world was left analyzing her past expressions like detectives on a case. The running joke: does she even watch these? Or is she too busy perfecting the art of the unreadable poker face? Either way, silence has never been louder. Kimmel's got two choices: let it go like a mature adult, or do what every comedian dreams of: roast Trump until he's redder than his own MAGA hat. Spoiler alert, maturity is overrated. Meanwhile, Trump, the undisputed king of holding grudges, might turn this into a full-blown campaign talking point. Late-night writers are popping champagne because when Trump takes the bait, it's like Christmas came early. The internet? Oh, they're already 10 memes ahead, debating whether this feud ends in a stand-up special or a Truth Social meltdown. Either way, comedy just secured another undefeated victory. The ongoing saga of humor and politics continues to unfold, leaving audiences in stitches. As the world watches, comedians are ready to seize every moment, turning political drama into comedic gold. With each tweet and each punchline, the comedy never stops, becoming an endless source of entertainment. The stage is set for laughter, and as long as Trump keeps reacting, comedians will keep creating. In this never-ending cycle of humor and political antics, both sides are destined to keep the audience enthralled. And so, the comedic duel continues, with each side pushing the boundaries of satire and responses. With each new day, there's always potential for another punchline to emerge from the political chaos. As long as comedians find inspiration in political drama, the laughter will never fade. In the grand theater of politics and comedy, every moment is a chance for hilarity to take center stage. With every punchline punchline thrown, the audience becomes part of the spectacle, fueling the cycle of laughter. The comedic rivalry continues to entertain, proving that humor is a powerful force in the world of politics. As long as there are comedians willing to push the envelope, the laughs will always ring true. Now, mix those with countless awkward moments,